My research project is now complete. It has been an interesting journey, reading, analysing, and importantly, making history. Now it is time for us to critically reflect on the intellectual, methodological, and technological challenges that I faced along this journey, and also the skills that I acquired and refined whilst doing it. Let's complete the journey, shall we? I encountered two principal intellectual challenges whilst approaching my history project. The first was divorcing or separating morality from my arguments throughout the course of the research project. I found this particularly difficult because the Nazis are infamous for their crimes against humanity. And over the course of the research project, I find myself refining my skills in terms of critically and objectively analysing primary sources and secondary literature. The second problem was reading history backwards. As I have just mentioned, the crimes of the Nazis, particularly the Holocaust and the Second World War, make it difficult to look at propaganda as a social construction tool without looking towards those two unfortunate events. I felt as though I was unsuccessful in not reading history backwards. However, I feel as though the seriousness of those two events led me to be unable to do so. I focused on two methodological challenges, one of which I overcame and the other perhaps not so. I acquired the new skills of critically engaging with primary sources and making them the foundation of my argument, and using secondary literature to give context, as opposed to previous analyses in which I did the opposite. I used secondary literature as a foundation of my argument and primary sources to give context. The second methodological challenge that I faced was in how I approached my argument. My argument was heavily focused on how the state used propaganda to socially construct. However, I felt that I was significantly weaker in terms of people's responses to the propaganda and how the social construction was understood and received and even affected them. My main technological challenge throughout the course of this research project has been to create a piece of academic historical analysis whilst making it engaging to the viewer and reader. I have refined my professional presentation skills whilst also attempting to incorporate creativity without losing seriousness. I shall explain this through an analogy. As historians, we are like architects, building contractors, and artisans, because we have to create structures for our arguments. We have to source the primary and secondary materials, and we have to design it and present it in a way that makes it enjoyable and engaging without compromising the quality and strength of our arguments. This has been a fun, yet educational and developmental process in making history. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.